Two very distinguished guests with me up on stage. I would like to tell you a few things about them before we get the panel underway. So first, Bo Thompson, to my left here, is the founder of the Million Cubs Project. If any of you have ever had a dream, I think Bo's dream of collecting 1 million Cubs cards might be one of the coolest sports card ambitions of anybody I've ever met. And in the process, Bo created an amazing sports card business, which he then left his job to work on full time. And it's grown to become one of the biggest YouTube channels dedicated to the hobby with currently, I think, 40,000 active listings in the store, right? 99.9% positive reviews on eBay, 3,000 followers on eBay. 3,000 followers on eBay shop and your YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. And almost 100,000 cards sold. So can I get a round of applause for Bo? Yeah. Try. All right, and next I've got Carrie Thompson. Carrie founded American Arbitrage, which is an amazing business, social media presence on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you haven't already followed Carrie, you've got to follow him. He's got about 1 million followers on TikTok, over 5,000 listings on eBay. So what we're going to talk about today is how you can level up your card store using technology. And the gentlemen to my left have a ton of insights and wisdom to share. And so I'd like to get started. So first, Bo, speak loudly into the mic. Tell us a little bit about how you got started with your card business. How did 1 million Cubs get started?
I started on eBay back in 1998. I was a junior in high school. 23 years later, I decided to make it my full-time job. So it was a side hustle for so long. I think with many of us in this room, the COVID pandemic really kind of lit a fire behind me to start transitioning from a side hustle and make it a business and a full-time reality, and that's what I did. So it really kind of streamlined going from part-time to full-time.
And tell us a little bit about what the full-time gig is now. What does your day look like?
My forte is low dollar cards, $1.50, $2.50, $5, basically $20 under cards. But I do it in massive quantities, which we'll talk about later.
Cool. And you do content all day long too. YouTube show first thing bright and early in the morning, like 7 a.m. And then on throughout the day, and an evening show as well sometimes.
Yeah, I have a background in morning radio. Did that during my 20s, and so a lot of the hobby content is a lot of the same. And I wanted to do something a little different, be creative, and almost tailor it to morning radio and have it be pop culture related. Talk about my neighbor Frank's robot lawnmower and my favorite cereal as a kid. So I touch on a little bit of everything.
Fruit Loops and Basic 4. Carrie, tell us a little bit about American Arbitrage and how you got started with your business.
Yeah, I started reselling in 2011. I resell everything. I sell pots and pans, clothing, shoes, everything. But my favorite thing to sell has always been sports cards. Since I was a little kid, I was selling in card shows, and I've loved every minute of it. I've been reselling, now for almost 10 years. I started the American Arbitrage stuff when I had my antique store. I started doing TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for some reason took off a lot. And I put a lot of effort behind it. It's grown a lot. It's allowed me to travel all over the US doing all sorts of fun stuff. And my main thing that I like to sell right now is sports cards, though. I'm like you, Bo. I sell a lot of low-end stuff. $20 and below is pretty much 95% of the sports cards I sell. And I can move through a lot of it right now using, Collectech and Card Dealer Pro and all that kind of stuff.
So jump right into that. Tell us a little bit about your process. How do you sell cards online right now? How do you get it done?
Right now, I'm loading up cards into my Fujitsu, my scanner, my feed scanner, and then I'm using Card Dealer Pro, which is an AI system that can basically tell eBay what the cards are, what year, what player, and then I use a template for how much I want, and I could do hundreds of cards at a time. And I've grown my eBay store card-wise over 5,000 now with cards, just in the last 6 months using Card Dealer Pro. Before, I was just taking pictures individually, looking everything up on eBay, and trying to price it at a price where it will sell. So, yeah, my card business has grown a bit. I've always loved selling cards, and now it's a lot easier for me to do what I enjoy.
So, Bo, tell us a little bit about your process, right? So you've gotten, I think, how many cards? You have 40,000 active listings, almost 100,000 sold. How do you get that how much volume onto eBay? What's your process?
Basically the same as what Kerry said. I use the Fujitsu now Ricoh scanners. I found out day one, I had actually done a video about the feed scanners without ever using it. Somebody that followed me on social media bought one, showed me the video. I'm like, dang, that's going to be efficient. My first day selling full time, I realized within 30 minutes, I have to get a scanner to scale up. If you want to sell in bulk and volume like that, it's just a necessity. A few months later, I was turned on to Card Dealer Pro, started using that. I was scaling from 125 listings in an hour to 400 to 500 in 1 hour using the Card Dealer Pro software.
So how do you guys acquire cards, right? When you're selling this much, you're probably turning over inventory pretty quickly. Where do you go to? I mean, is it places like Collectech where you're buying collections, or what's your go-to?
Yeah, Kerry and I, we saddled up to a bargain box today, and he was there for about 6 hours. I think I was only there for 3 or 4 hours. But that's my thing. I'll let him speak to it. But card shows is a big part of where I source my inventory, and through networking, you meet dealers. Once you buy from somebody, it's a good transaction. It's all about the networking. They know you. Hey, you buy bulk. You're going to buy my stuff. I don't want bulk. I don't want to deal with it. So they come to me. So through networking, through card shows is a big part of where I source my inventory.
Sorry, one more question for Bo. What percentage of the cards you buy are just whole collections that people are bringing to you at shows or otherwise?
Yeah, whole collections, very few. I would consider most of my buys as bulk, where it's just somebody buys a collection, they skim off the top, the high-end stuff, all the low-end stuff, the $20 cards, the $10 cards. That's where they come to me and they're like, hey, I've got this stuff. You know what to do with it. Here's my price. Maybe a little negotiation, and that's how we go. So very few collections. It's mainly kind of like the leftovers of other collections.
What about you, Kerry? Where do you go to buy your cards? How do you source them?
Well, my favorite way to buy cards is a card show. Going through bargain bins, there's nothing quite like it. The hunt, it's treasure hunting, basically. Essentially, you're just looking for hidden treasures in boxes, underpriced stuff. My name's American Arbitrage. Arbitrage is all about taking undervalued items in one market and putting them in the correct market to get the right price. But I do a lot of things. I go to garage sales. I find cards at garage sales, several times a month. I buy out collections on Facebook, locally. I will get cards almost everywhere. I have people who know I collect, who know I flip, and they give me collections. So I literally have gotten cards in almost every way imaginable, honestly. And I've been doing it for so long. People know that I'm into it. So if there's something in the area, I'm alerted of it.
Will you guys ever go to places like Goodwill to buy cards?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I've got a little kind of a connection, and again, it's how you build relationships and network. And I was able to, hey, how can I get more of these? And it's worked. And so I buy them by the pallet at Goodwill. Sometimes
by the pallet. You buy by the pallet.
Yeah, by the pallet. About 600 pounds. Now people say pallet. How do you get that in your SUV?
How do you get 600 pounds of cards into your house?
I have to unload it from. It's actually in a Gaylord, which is a big cardboard box. Is what a Gaylord is. So it's a cardboard box on top of a pallet. So I unload the Gaylord into my SUV, and then I just take several trips down into my card room. But I bought like 15 of them. It's usually about 150,000 cards per So I found a Mike Trout rookie card, but I also find a lot of like just absolute, the dog ate some of the card. So there's a lot of stuff that just goes in the recycle bin.
600 pounds of cards is a lot of cards. So, Carrie, have you guys ever used the live selling platforms? Like we were just talking about Drip and whatnot. No, have you had any experience selling on the live streaming sites?
Yeah, I've been selling on Whatnot since 2020, so almost 2 years, or actually over 2 years now. I've done about 16,000 sales, or total items sold over the last little bit. I do a lot of cards, but I also do all sorts of other random stuff. I do a lot of sales in the estate sale category, so I'm doing everything from stuffed animals, action figures, sports cards, ephemera, paper goods, all sorts of stuff. But the live auctions are the way of the future. Every app is trying to figure out how to use it. I mean, eBay Lives are on the horizon, not just for the big guys like Burbank and Logan Paul or something. It's coming for everybody. And there's other sites like Drip, there's Loop, there's Pop Shop. Fanatics Live is just getting started. So there's a lot of opportunity if you have the desire.
Are you thinking you're going to do Fanatics Live too? Do you know anything about that?
I'm going to try. I'll go everywhere. I like to sell. That's what I do.
What about you, Bo?
I'm kind of the opposite. I like to, eBay's kind of my bread and butter. I stick to eBay. My personality fits better with tunnel vision eBay, which is
what
kind
about
of a
eBay Live? What about the eBay Live auction?
It's
experience?
appealing. Carrie and I have had a lot of conversations this weekend, and I'm learning a lot from him, especially on different platforms that I've already downloaded TikTok. I haven't been on TikTok. And
well, let's talk about that. So TikTok, right? How do you build your social media brand? Carrie, talk about TikTok for a sec. How did you get started on TikTok, and how's it grown?
Yeah, I started on TikTok, almost 4 years ago, like 3.5 years ago. I started on TikTok. It's blunt force. I was just consistent. I put videos up every single day for almost 2 years, and I tried to study what was working and what wasn't working. There's certain ways to say things, certain ways to edit things, and all of it I did on my phone. I didn't edit any of it on my computer. I did everything, my YouTube videos, everything on my phone.
So speed round.
Yeah.
Top 3 things that work on TikTok. If you had to get 3 pieces of advice to a TikTok newbie like Bo, what would they be?
My advice for TikTok is tell people what not to do. Tell people don't do something. They love that. They'll get very mad at you and they'll watch your video. You want to keep your videos very short and to the point. 17 seconds or less until you get used to it. And then once you get better at it, you can lengthen how long your TikToks are. And then lastly, movement. You want movement. You don't want to be just standing still, looking in a camera, telling everybody, hi, I'm Carrie, American Arbitrage. They already swiped to watch, 2 cats cuddling or something. So you got to get straight to the point. I found something, it's worth money, you should look for it. That's what I do all day, every day.
That's great. I love it. Yeah. What not to do, movement, and the third was short.
Yeah, be short.
Short.
Keep it simple and short.
All right, so Bo, can you tell us a little bit about how you built your brand? The 1 Million Cubs brand, if any of you haven't heard of it, it is, I feel like it's sweeping the nation. I mean, every card dealer I talked to lately with Card Dealer Pro knows Bo, has learned from him. You're kind of preaching the gospel of how to build your card business. So tell us a little bit about how you built that brand and how you're growing it.
I don't know.
No. Don't make me do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right. It grew organically because it's just a passion. It's love for the Cubs and for baseball cards. And so I wanted to have something that was, I wanted to hook people in. Like, I want to get rid of my junk cards, but I'll take junk Cubs cards. So if I trade a million, that's a good number. People they love chasing records. They love chasing goals. Yeah. So I just decided to do 1 million Cubs, trade my million junky Cubs, stupid Cardinal cards I don't want, get Cubs cards that I do want. And it just grew. And so many people want to help the journey. And they're like, I just don't give me anything in return. I want you to reach your goals. And it's amazing. We see so much negativity on social media and just in the world today. But at the end of the day, people want to help other people reach their goals. And I think that's one thing. We talked about this over the weekend, last night or this morning, about, do you really want to get to 1 million Cubs? And I do, but I'm enjoying the journey at the same time. And it's like, I'm at almost 900,000 Cubs cards right now, and that light is at the end of the tunnel. And so I'm rambling on. I'm not keeping it concise like Carrie suggested to do. I guess I just built the brand organically, and I was myself, and it's all about passion.
Well, I think it also speaks a lot to the platform, right? Because Carrie has largely built your brand on TikTok, Instagram, very different form than YouTube, right? Where you've kind of found your home, Bo, and you do, a 1 hour long show every morning, at least 1 hour, sometimes much longer. And it's, I think it speaks to the fact that they're two very different mediums. Yeah. I also think, if I may, what I think is really cool about your programming is that, both of you, is you give a lot of advice, right? It's teaching people how to do things, not preaching at them or just, entertaining with breaks. Like, it's actually just like, here's how to get this done. I think that's, to me, where the content really shines, is when it's educating people and you walk away from it, having learned something or learn what not to do, right?
Yeah.
So Carrie, any what's your experience been with some of the other platforms? Like, we talked about TikTok, but what about YouTube? What about Facebook? What do you think?
I literally am on everything that's available. If the Home Depot app started letting me put videos on there, I would do it. I'm not even joking. I really would. I'm on Pinterest. I'm on Snapchat. I'm on Facebook, which is one of the best platforms to be on right now. Facebook is booming. Reels, long form, everything. And everything's different. I kind of break it up into two. It's short form content, simple, lots of movement, energy, get right to the point, and long form content, which is where people can get to know you, what you're about, and what you do. And there's different places for that. Facebook and YouTube are perfect for long form. And then short form stuff, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook too, because it does it both. You could just get a lot of people seeing what you're talking about. And I think if you add something educational, you teach people, it keeps them coming back for more. They want to learn more.
All right, so for anybody that's actually listening out there, one last question.
Yeah.
If there's somebody out there that has an interest in potentially starting a card business, selling some cards, right? Taking it to the next level, what would be your advice about where to start? If you were, just to give a couple pieces of advice about where to start, what would you say?
Just learn. Watch different videos. Watch, like you mentioned, the education. Watch the educational videos on YouTube. Look at forums. But develop your own style, your own opinions on how to build it, and then go from there. Once you start really getting into the weeds, take some chances. Don't take big chances, but trial and error is big. And, I think that's when Carrie and I were looking through some bargain boxes today. We knew what some of the cards that we were buying, we can turn this $3 into $30 or $50. But then there were some where it's like, I might be able to make a few bucks off of this. And it's all about taking chances. I went back to the hotel, looked at some of my buys, and some of them were dogs. But a few of them were big winners, and the big winners are going to outweigh, and that you'll develop that the more and more you get into it. You'll learn that, and you'll refine it and become successful.
Carrie, where would you start?
Everything good in my life has come from just starting something, action. So if you want to sell sports cards, open up an eBay account and watch a YouTube video or two and learn how to just post one card. Post it wrong, at the wrong price, do a crappy picture. That doesn't matter so much as doing it, because once you do it once, you're going to do it twice and a third time, and it's going to progressively get better. And then you'll start using tools like Card Dealer Pro, or you'll start using TikTok like I did when I was, had a small business and I was trying to get people's attention. So you got to start with the first step. But the most important thing is getting started. I wanted to do content, for example, for about 7 years before I did it. I watched everybody. I wanted to be a part of it, and I just didn't do it. The minute I started doing it, I'm not joking, everything changed for me. Everything. A lot of opportunities and a lot of confidence. It really did change my life, and just get started. Do it.
I'm really glad you did. We're going to wrap up quickly. Bo Thompson, 1 million Cubs, ONE million Cubs on YouTube, Twitter. Kerry Williams, American Arbitrage on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Please follow them. You can also follow my business, which is Collect's app on pretty much everything, as well as Car Dealer Pro, which is the software they nicely gave some props to in the talk, which is our software for dealers and stores that allows you to scan and list cards by the thousands. Thanks, everyone. And quick round of applause also for Neustreet for doing this. This is really awesome. Great event.